When a couple arrived at the restaurant, the waitress noticed them right away. She decided to watch them closely, and as soon as she took their order, she felt something was off. But she never could have guessed the real reason behind the strange situation. Molly was working her regular shift at the restaurant, and it seemed like an ordinary day. It wasn't very busy, so she had some free time. But things quickly changed when a couple walked in, and they soon caught Molly's attention, turning her day upside down. She welcomed them and seated them at a nice table by the window. At first, Molly thought they were just a normal couple, but she soon realized she was wrong. Something about their behavior made her pay closer attention, and she started to notice that something wasn't right. There was a lot of noise coming from their table, mostly from the man, who was talking loudly and clearly enjoying himself. But when Molly looked at the woman, it was a different story. She was quiet, had a blank expression, and didn't seem to be enjoying the moment at all. Whenever the woman tried to speak, the man either ignored her or interrupted. Molly couldn't stop watching, shocked by what she was seeing. To her surprise, the woman didn't say anything about how her husband was acting. Instead, she gave up trying to talk and sat silently, her head down, nervously fidgeting with her hands under the table. Molly could tell the woman was anxious, which worried her. The couple remained at the table for quite a while but didn't give any indication they were ready to order. Molly tried to monitor the situation closely while helping other customers, but eventually, the couple became her sole focus. Her mind was racing. What was going on with those two? The man continued his behavior, while the woman grew more distant and nervous. The man showed no interest or concern for the woman, nor any acknowledgement of her feelings. Molly found his behavior repulsive, and alarm bells went off in her head. Was the woman stuck in a toxic relationship? The thought crossed Molly's mind and scared her. It certainly looked unhealthy to her. The man acted like a jerk in public, so Molly didn't want to imagine how he treated her in private. Molly looked at the woman more closely. She did seem a little frightened of her husband. All the speculation running through Molly's head made her worry for the woman. But she had only observed the couple. She didn't know what was truly happening. So, under the guise of taking their order, she went to their table to take a closer look and try to make sense of the situation. Molly tried to act naturally, not wanting to worsen the situation by letting the man think she was keeping an eye on him. She thought his behavior might change when she approached, but she was wrong. It seemed he didn't care at all, as he wasn't subtle about his actions. "For me, the T-bone steak," the man said. Molly wrote down his order and turned to the woman to take hers. The woman opened her mouth, but before she could speak, the man suddenly interrupted. "And for my wife, a large Caesar salad." The woman's mouth closed immediately, and tension filled the air. Molly felt uneasy. Unsure of what to do, her instincts took over. She wrote down the order and then looked the woman straight in the eyes. "Will that be all?" she asked, hoping the woman would say something. But again, it was the man who answered. "Yes, that's all," he said in a dominant tone. The strange and uneasy tension lingered as Molly stood there, uncertain of what to do next. This had turned out far differently than she had imagined. "Your order will be right up," she eventually said, hesitantly returning to the bar. Her mind was racing, and she felt terrible about the situation. "This isn't right," Molly mumbled to herself. Everything about the situation felt wrong, and she wanted to know what was happening. Maybe she could help the woman. Molly kept a close eye on the couple, and when the man left the table to go to the restroom, she tried to get the woman's attention. But the moment the man was gone, the woman quickly grabbed her phone out of her bag. She anxiously looked around to check if the man was returning. When she saw him coming back, she quickly put her phone away. This action made Molly think the man had complete control over the relationship, which worried her. Not long after, their food arrived, and things got worse. "Come on, eat," Molly heard him say to his wife. The comment made her look at the couple again, and she felt a pang in her heart. It was obvious the woman didn't want to eat the salad, but she did it anyway. Molly was getting desperate and didn't know what to do. Her coworkers didn't seem to understand the situation and told her to stay out of it. But Molly couldn't help herself. Molly checked on the table several times, but only the man responded, while the woman stayed silent. Despite her efforts, Molly couldn't engage the woman, and her frustration grew as she worried about her. Then, the perfect moment came when the man got up to pay the bill. Seizing the chance, Molly quickly wrote a note that read, "Do you need help?" and discreetly showed it to the woman. The woman looked confused, then shocked as she read the note. But to Molly's disappointment, the woman didn't give a clear answer. Instead, her face turned pale, and with a shaky voice, she said, "No, thank you." Molly was confused by the woman's response and sudden change in behavior. Just then, the waitress heard the man approaching behind her. She quickly folded the note and put it away just in time. Was the woman really that afraid of her husband? With her mind racing, Molly returned to the kitchen, letting out a frustrated sigh. This final interaction confirmed what she had suspected. There was definitely something wrong with that couple, and it frustrated Molly immensely that she couldn't help the woman. Everything she tried seemed futile. It was as if the woman didn't want help. But then something unexpected happened. Molly was standing in the small corridor leading to the kitchen when she suddenly felt a hand on her shoulder. It startled her, but the real surprise came when she turned around and saw that the hand belonged to the woman. Every attempt Molly had made to try to make contact seemed to have reached her after all. Molly was about to speak, but the woman spoke first. "I don't have long. I told my husband I needed the restroom," she said, gesturing toward the man waiting at the bar. Molly nodded, eager to listen. The woman, nervously shifting, asked, "Are you really offering to help me?" Molly nodded, concerned, and the woman quickly handed her a note before walking away. Confused, Molly hesitated to follow, aware of the man at the bar. She read the note, "Meet me here tonight at 8. Molly's heart raced, wondering what it meant. She spent the rest of her shift thinking about it. When the woman returned at 8, she looked completely different, confident instead of nervous. The sudden change in demeanor surprised Molly, but it didn't lessen her concerns for the woman. "Are you okay?" she asked when the woman sat down, her voice full of worry. The tone in Molly's voice wiped the smile off the woman's face. "I'm so sorry," the woman said, her expression now serious. Molly was confused by the apology and the woman's change in behavior. What was going on? Then the woman, whose name was Sarah, started talking. She told Molly that she realized her behavior had made the waitress worry. Sarah didn't want that and was sorry, but she would love Molly's help. Molly hoped to get answers, but all she received were more questions. She didn't need to worry about Sarah's safety, but the woman still wanted her help. "What's going on?" Molly asked, a hint of frustration in her voice. Then Sarah dropped a bombshell. "My husband is cheating on me," the woman said. This wasn't the explanation Molly had been expecting, and the waitress didn't know what to say. Sarah broke the silence, explaining that she had found out about her husband's infidelity but didn't know what to do next. Molly now understood why Sarah had behaved so strangely around her husband. She felt deeply sorry for Sarah and didn't back down on her offer to help. However, one question lingered in her mind. "Why me?" she asked. "Why would you turn to a random waitress you don't know for such a personal problem?" It seemed very strange to Molly. Sarah's expression suddenly turned sad after Molly asked the question. The woman took a deep breath before answering. She told Molly that she would normally turn to her best friend for support, but it's her. "My husband cheated with her," she said in a broken voice. Sarah looked absolutely distraught. Molly couldn't imagine how hard this must have been for Sarah and grabbed her hand to show her she wasn't alone anymore. With the whole story finally out, Molly became even more determined to help Sarah. "Do you want to get back at them?" she asked, a mischievous smile appearing on her face. Molly's creative mind was already working at full speed before Sarah even answered. The woman nodded and explained that she was already preparing the legal documents for a divorce. "But that's not enough," she said. Sarah wanted to show Corey, her husband, and Haley, her friend, just how much they had hurt her. "I think we can come up with something," Molly responded confidently. That evening, the two women brainstormed a plan to get revenge on Sarah's husband and best friend. After several hours, they had come up with a satisfactory plan. What they didn't know was that it would turn out even better than they had hoped. The women parted ways but stayed in touch as they prepared. A few weeks later, Sarah and Corey were set to celebrate their 5th wedding anniversary, and the first step of their plan was to celebrate it at Molly's restaurant. Sarah arranged for the anniversary to take place there and invited all their friends and family. When the anniversary night arrived, Molly ensured everything was perfectly arranged with the help of a co-worker they had trusted with the true intentions of the night. When all the guests had arrived, Molly asked Sarah and Corey to step up to the podium. The guests applauded, unaware of what was about to happen. Sarah thanked Molly, winked, and began a toast. Afterward, Greg handed Sarah 2 envelopes, and she called her friend Haley on stage. Sarah gave an envelope to both Haley and her husband, Corey, urging them to open them. As they did, they turned pale, realizing Sarah knew about their affair. Sarah then revealed to the crowd, "It's a divorce party." The room was shocked, and Corey and Haley left in shame while Sarah's friends and family supported her. Molly noticed Sarah wiping away tears of joy, saying, "It's finally over." The plan had worked, and the party kicked off. As time passed, Sarah started dating Greg, and she and Molly became close friends. What do you think of this story? Let us know in the comments section. Thank you.